Hello and welcome to the Caribbean Content Creators Podcast, the show where we talk to content creators about the business of creativity and content creation, particularly in the Caribbean. Today I want to chat with you all a little bit about some tips that I could share based on my YouTube experience. I've been doing YouTube consistently, since 2018, and since then I've managed to grow to about 9,200 subscribers. I have two channels right now. I have a channel called Lyndon Baptiste and a channel called Lyndon Baptiste Raw. These 4 tips that I'm going to give, they're not along necessarily lines of technical details. I could do some more videos like that or more podcast episodes if you're interested in the technical details. I'm no expert, but it's just things I've picked up along the way. And let's get into it. I should wish you happy holidays and great season with your friends and family. I'm recording this on the 22nd of December. The first tip I want to talk about, which is being consistent with your channel. Now, I'm definitely here not practicing what I'm preaching because I've kind of jumped off or taken a little break from YouTube, and I'm not being as consistent that I have been. And one of the things I've noticed is that the growth on the channel has slowed down because I'm not being as consistent. Now, it's important for you to have a clear idea of what the goals are for your channel. One of the things I've done YouTube for a very long time, and I've never kind of really been clear as to what my goals are. I do content creation for the fun of it, and I guess it's great to be doing something and getting good responses off of it without having any clear goals. And maybe I should have started there in terms of saying, you establish what your goals are. What are the things that you will count as successful? Some people count success as hitting 5,000, 10,000 subscribers. That has never really been my yardstick in terms of success. Some people count success in terms of money, in terms of having brand deals. That is not how I look at it, but I guess it's great. I just want to entertain people. And I think one of the goals I've picked up along the way is kind of selling this idea of old-time Trinidad and Tobago and the idea that it still exists. So if I had to say, do I have any goals for my YouTube page? I'd say yeah. I like the idea of selling the traditional values that we tend to associate with Trinidad and Tobago. So when you have your goals, it makes the journey a little bit easier, particularly when you're probably like about 2 or 3 years into your YouTube experience or your content creation journey, and you're faced one day with the idea of, why am I doing this? And if you're doing it for money and you're hitting those goals in terms of whether it's monetization or sponsorship, brand deals, and you're hitting those goals, you'll say, okay, I'm on target and I'm going well. I know I started off with consistency, but I think the first thing that I should highlight is really having goals and objectives for your channel and establishing what you count as being successful. Going back to this idea, if I could make this consistency the second tip, then I'll say, how often can you show up? How often can you publish videos? And consistency, we may start very simple in terms of saying, okay, I want to publish at least 2 videos per month. And as your skill improves, you may say, okay, I'll go for a video per week. And then somewhere along the line, especially if this isn't the primary source of income for you and you have other jobs and responsibilities, which is what happened to me a bit in 2022 here, that other responsibilities came up and I'm not able to publish as frequently as I would like and the quality that I would like. So I'm not as consistent as I was before. Now, 2 or 3 years into the journey here, one of the things that I decided to do was to start a channel called Lyndon Baptiste Raw. So I have a second channel, and the idea behind it is that I'm going to be recording videos on my phone, editing them on my phone, without giving much thought to the videos that I may post on my main channel. And surprisingly, that channel is going remarkably well. The name of the channel is Lyndon Baptiste Raw. I recently hit 2,000 subscribers on it. I was able to grow the channel quickly because it was like kind of collaborating with myself off of the main channel, and people that wanted additional content, they've jumped over there and they're following the journey. Now, is it possible for me to categorize it as 2 different types of fans? I can think about Pat Flynn has a book where he talks about Superfans, and I'm wondering if the people that have jumped over to Lyndon Baptiste Raw I might be able to count them as superfans. You know, they're more interested in seeing the kind of behind the scenes, the raw format. And interestingly, there are people who will tell you that they much rather the videos that you post on Lyndon Baptiste Raw than the main channel, which is heavily edited videos. So I'm being consistent there. Maybe posting as my schedule allows. I have no set schedule, but I can think about times where I've been able to post 3 or 4 videos. So what I've noticed about consistency is the more I step away from my editing process, where I want to find songs and sound effects and have, you know, all the fancy things that we associate with the editing process, it makes it a little bit easier to produce. I'm filming on an iPhone 11. I'm editing in iMovie, and I'm showing up a lot more often on Lyndon Baptiste Raw, and the channel is growing. You need to kind of weigh and say, you know, do I want to produce a video that is well edited once a month? Or can I have a much easier editing format if I'm doing stuff on my phone, not paying attention to the bells and whistles, but focusing on the storyline? I will say that on the Lyndon Baptiste Raw channel, one of the things that I try to keep intact is the storytelling that goes with the videos. And I even try to respect people's time in terms of if a video, I personally feel that it doesn't have a lot of value to it, then I say as much at the beginning of the video. Hey, you know, today I'm going on a driving adventure. I don't think there's much value in this video. It's not really exciting, but if you choose to come along for the ride, you come along for the ride. Point number 2 is consistency. So you have your objectives as number 1, and you have your consistency. The third thing I'll say about making videos, and this kind of goes back to scripting. I started my videos doing a lot of political satire, something called Red Wall News. And it forced me to write before I go and film a video and you know, wing it, whatever comes to mind, I say it. And I had to script a lot of this stuff and be very careful of my choice of words. And one of the things that taught me in doing these episodes and writing them as early as possible, establish the point of the video. For example, today I'm going to tell you 5 things about creating videos that I learned in the last 3 or 4 years. So the person decides if they want to go on that journey. Maybe very early on when you state your case and what you're about, you're going to lose people along the way. I think people have a kind of sense of respect for the person that's told me up front, this is the objective of the video, this is what I'm here to learn, and I could decide whether I want to stay. In the same breath, there are instances where you may want to, you know, leave it as a bit of a surprise. It's a story that you're telling, so it has to unfold. I think people are more willing to go along these storylines that reveal themselves the more they get to know you, the more they see a sense of value or good content coming out by you establishing the point maybe in the early part, and then, you know, maybe 6 or 7 months down the road where it's a story that unravels, then they say, here's what, you know, this person, this creator, they've given me good content over a 5-6 month period, and as the viewer, I'm going to trust that wherever this video is going, it's going down a good road. So as early as possible, establish the point of the video. The next thing is, and I've heard this said a lot, so I'm not saying anything new, plan your video. Don't waste people's time. If a video could be 5 minutes long, make it 5 minutes long. In the same breath, there are cases where you have to know who's looking at your videos. And if you're posting on YouTube and you have access to the tools and the analytics and the behind the scenes, and you're seeing where people are dropping off on your video, you must develop a sense of your audience. Maybe my audience likes slow-paced videos. Interestingly, when I started making videos with 2 farmers who live off-grid in an area of Trinidad called Courier Valley, it has a beautiful river that runs through, bamboo trees on either side, deep pools along the way. It's a popular spot because you have people cooking by the river. Fun times. You hear about Trinidad and it's one of the things that you think about, Courier River. And I noticed when I started making videos with these farmers that the people who were looking at the videos, they're in an older age bracket, and they're a lot more willing to look at something that is slow-paced. And it took a little bit of adjustment on my end because I was accustomed making fast-paced videos to hold people's attention. And then I realized I could kind of back off and take it slow and make a video that reflects the atmosphere. And the people who were viewing willing to stay along for the ride. So you have to have a sense of your audience. And while I'm saying, don't waste people's time, have a sense of your audience, because your audience may appreciate something that's slower paced, a story that reveals itself as it goes along. So I've spoken about consistency, your objectives, establishing the point of the video, and planning your video so that you don't waste people's time. The last thing that I'll highlight here, and I've proved this over and over and over, it's something I think a lot of content creators ignore: experiment with your content. I could think about when I was doing Red Wall News political satire, and that is all was coming out of my... In fact, I used to post these videos on Facebook, and I had grown that channel to about 5,000 followers. And my wife said to me, she said, I think you should start posting. If you're looking at monetization and growing your channel, I think you should start posting on YouTube. I had already, as I mentioned, grown to 5,000 followers, and I was taking a step back to post on a YouTube channel that probably had about 300 or 400 subscribers at the point in time. And that in itself represented a big experiment. And I remember posting there, not enjoying the success that I had been enjoying on Facebook, and wondering maybe a week or two into it that, hey, you think this is a good idea? Is this a good idea? I'm not too sure because I'm not enjoying the results. And she says, you just stick with it. And years later, the channel is where it is today. I'm monetized. I've secured a couple brand deals, and it is only through that experiment that it paid off. So it's kind of easy to look back and see the beauty of experimenting just in shifting. And now that I've hit certain targets on YouTube, I guess I could turn my attention back to Facebook and see what happens. But I was talking primarily here about experimenting with your content. I started off doing Red Wall News, political satire, short videos. The longest may have been about 8 minutes long. And then I say to myself, hey, maybe I could start doing vlogs. It took a little bit of adjustment, but it paid off well. I didn't know about shorts at the time. Shorts didn't exist on YouTube, but maybe I could start doing short videos, portrait mode, and making them less than a minute long. That went well. So you have all these opportunities to experiment with your content, because if you stick to one type of content, you may not reach. I think it's just this kind of constant cycle of being able to try something, see how it works. If it works well, you try it again. So I went from political satire to family vlogs to working with farmers who live off-grid to doing silly challenges. Some of these challenges worked well, others flopped. Film, edit, try something. And even this podcast represents a grand experiment, and I have no sense where it would end up. This is, I believe, episode 8, and I'm filming it because I'm recording it. I'm recording it because I want to get a sense of where would this experiment go. I want to have the opportunity to chat with content creators and see what it's like from a Caribbean perspective. There's no way I'll be able to figure this out if I don't try it. And I'm here recording this episode on this day, just before the Christmas day that is, because I need to be consistent. So whatever you're up to, I hope you have a happy holiday, and I wish you all the best with your content creation journey. I don't know if this would be the last episode for this year here, 2022, but I look forward to talking to more content creators and being a little bit more consistent with my YouTube channel, with this podcast. If you're following this on Spotify, I'd love if you rate the show, give me an idea of your feedback. I'll include links to my YouTube channel in the show notes, so you can feel free to jump across there, check out the videos. Wherever you're listening to in the world, I wish you all the best and a happy holiday. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.